So this is my tractor, and today we're going to be doing a little project specifically on the bucket. Tractor is a Mahindra 1533 hydrostatic. It's a great tractor. I like it a lot. I've had it 8 months or so. Goes really well. The problem is, on this bucket, there are no chain hooks. There's nothing to attach any kind of chain or strap or binder or anything to when you're trying to pick something up. So we're gonna fix that today. So the goal is to put 3 hooks on. I'm gonna put one on each end right here, and then I'm gonna do something with the center. We're gonna have to get creative because there's not a lot of meat there, but we'll figure something out. I've had a couple tractors before, and having hooks on or D-rings or whatever certainly makes the bucket much more functional for picking stuff up. I do have a set of forks. This is a quick attach bucket, so I got a set of forks that go on here, but I don't bring them with me everywhere, and sometimes I don't want to take it off just to lift up one little thing. So let's get this thing in the shop, and well, let's get the bucket in the shop, and let's get to welding. Okay, I got the bucket up on my motorcycle ATV lift. I decided to get it up there so I'd have a better working height to weld and grind on and such. I put a clamp on so it wouldn't fall off and cut one of my toes off. So now we're going to figure out where the hooks are going to go, how they're going to be best suited on here, and get it ground down and welded on. Alright, so the chain hooks are here. Big box for such small things, so let's get into it. If you've never seen a weld-on chain hook, here's what they look like. They got a little bevel in the back. You clean that up with the grinder and weld it on. I think I've settled on this for a location for the side hooks. Seems to fit pretty well in there. It's good meat on the top here to weld into, and then obviously I can build the weld up really well from the bottom underneath there. So I think that's what we're going to go with. It's not perfect, but this bucket doesn't offer a lot of different options, so let's go with that. Now the center hook is going to present a little bit more of a challenge. As much as I'd just love to weld this on right here in the middle, that's not going to work. This metal is just not thick enough, so if I put any real weight on that hook, it's going to bend, and I don't want to do that. What I think I'm going to do instead is this is 1/4 inch plate right here. This is for the quick attach top. That's much more stout. There's some good material here, so I think I'm going to take the hook, I'll nip some of this off with the bandsaw and then fit it in there nice and then weld it up in place there in the center. I think that'll be the best solution, and then it won't be in the way of anything else up over here, and this won't be in the way of anything either. So that's the idea. got the center hook here clamped into place. I ground all the paint off the bucket, and it was put up quite a fight. It's some kind of powder coat. I don't know if it's necessarily paint because it took brake clean to get all the goo off. So got the hook ground down in the vise, got it all cleaned up, ready to go, and now it's time to weld. My plan for welding here is I'm going to put two pretty big tacks on either end of this. I'm going to fill in this bevel, do sort of a root pass, you can call it, and then I'm going to do a finish pass all the way down. I'll do that on both sides. Let's see how that goes. There's my first pass. Not too bad. Alright, here's what we ended up with. I'm pretty happy with it. Side welds turned out really nice. The back one kind of built up a little bit, but I'll touch that with the grinder. It'll be good to go. But that's going to be plenty strong. That hook is not going anywhere. I'm going to take a different approach with cleaning up the ends before I weld on. Using the flap disc and a grinder over there didn't get the results I was hoping for. This paint or powder coat is some nasty sticky stuff, so we're going to try the old wire wheel and see how that does. Okay, I got this just how I wanted, I think. That paint, powder coat, whatever, put up one hell of a fight. It does not want to come off this bucket. So, got it off, got it clamped into place. I think I like how it sits. Let's get it welded in. As you can see, we had a little change of plans. I didn't like the way things were going with the bucket sitting on its face trying to weld in this hook. I wasn't getting the penetration I wanted welding overhead. So I decided to tip the bucket up on its end, and I'm going to step on the step ladder and get that welded in place, and then I'll do the same for the other side. As you can see, tipping it up on its side got me a much better looking weld. A little bit of undercut. I might go back with a little bit less heat, less voltage, less wire speed, and just kind of pretty that up, but that is good and strong. I would not have been able to get that result welding it from the underside. So here's how we ended up. You can see I built the bottom up pretty good. That won't be failing. I ran one little pass underneath my main one just for aesthetics to fill it in. I did touch up a couple spots with the grinder. As the saying goes, a grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. I don't claim to be professional, but I can get it done. Overall, pretty happy with it. That will not be going anywhere. Got this side all set. Going to repeat the process over on the other side, and then we'll get them painted. So here's this side, all welded up. See how it turned out. Haven't even touched it with a wire wheel or anything. This side definitely went a little bit better. I'm pretty happy with it. Built the weld up under there nice. That hook will not be going anywhere. Got the bucket back on the lift. All the welds have cooled down, all the metal's cool to the touch, so we can commence painting. This is what I'm going to use to paint the bare metal on the bucket. I just have a black self-etching primer, and I'm going to hit it with some clear coat on top once it dries. That's it. Obviously you can just use a rattle can of black paint, which will work just fine, but this is a little bit more professional quality and tends to hold up a lot longer. Now that the primer has had a chance to dry, we can put on some clear. And here's our finished product. I think it turned out pretty good. Obviously a little more shine than the factory paint, but a couple uses will take that sheen right off. Got the bucket back on the tractor, got the chain, got some chain hooks. Really happy with how they turned out. Let's put them to the test. I think this pretty well illustrates how handy it is to have a set of chain hooks welded onto your bucket. I don't know how heavy this log is, but I don't know, 100 pounds at least. And certainly easier than fussing around with it in the bucket. If you don't have a set of chain hooks on your bucket, it's time to get you some.